In the age of social media, where kindness often reigns supreme, and yet, have you ever stopped and thought about all the ways this can backfire against you? It might sound counterintuitive, but stick with me, especially if you're on a quest to become the best version of yourself. For there lies a timeless lesson that we may have forgotten in our modern pursuit of being kind at all times. Cast your mind back to the ancient philosophers known as the Stoics. These wise souls were all about finding that sweet spot in life. Stay resilient, they'd teach, but always prioritize being a good person. Now don't get me wrong, being kind is fantastic, but here's the catch. Too much of it can sometimes lead to it coming back to bite you. Yes, excessive kindness, like all things in excess, might lead to paying a heavy penalty. Before you think this is clickbait or this is simply common sense, let's embark on a journey together. We're going to uncover 6 surprising ways that an overflow of kindness might cause you to stumble. We'll draw on the timeless wisdom of the greatest Stoic thinkers like Seneca, Epictetus, and Marcus Aurelius. Whilst we do, I want you to reflect on your acts of kindness and question whether they had the impact you intended. Are they the appropriate action, or do you feel out of balance and under pressure that, as humans, we can all relate to? If you're eager to join us, hit that notification bell and subscribe. Commit yourself to staying consistent and learn the nuances that will separate you from the pack. We'll be walking on the tightrope of being kind, finding the balance to walk effortlessly into the situations of life. After all, the most valuable lessons often come from the simple truths staring us in the face, and we must be aware of the unexpected ways overgenerosity can hurt us. 1. Doing too much for others. A friend desperately explains their issues, and in a moment of goodwill, you eagerly volunteer to help. Buried beneath your noble intentions lies the weight of your responsibilities. The Stoics, champions of living in harmony with nature, were not afraid to recognize the boundaries all humans face. Overcommitting is not just deadly because you are spreading yourself too thin. It can be a betrayal of your authenticity. Your energy is a full glass of water. Every commitment, every promise is you pouring a drop out to someone else. Pour out too much and you will be left with an empty glass, leaving yourself with no energy to go after your own goals. Little wonder why the Stoics said, "Know the size of your cup." Remember, prioritizing self-care isn't selfishness, but being kind to yourself first. So before making commitments, pause and assess your capacity. It's in the best interests of everyone. Your kindness is only possible when your glass has water in it. No, this does not mean I'm saying don't help your friends in their time of need. Just don't invest your time and energy at the expense of creating issues you will need to deal with. Spare the time you can, and remember, it is the little gestures which mean the most. We can all remember that day we spent offering advice to friends, fulfilling work obligations, and doing chores around the house to make our families' lives easier, only to snap at loved ones in the evening and be exhausted skipping our own goals, unable to stay focused on that personal project you're working on. That's the burden of doing too much for others. Understand your capacity and act within this. It's not about the short term, it's about the long-term strategies that will help those you love even more. 2. Putting other people's happiness before your own. There's this classic dilemma a lot of us face, the constant need to be liked by everyone. It's like we're wired to seek outside approval, even if it means sacrificing our feelings. Stoicism talks about this, how we often end up in a tangled mess of trying to please everyone around us. Let's take a look at Ron's story. Ron was a good guy, really, but he had this habit of sacrificing his integrity just to get a pat on the back. He'd laugh at jokes he didn't find funny, wear clothes he didn't like just so he wasn't mocked, and agree with opinions he didn't share, all in the name of keeping the peace. But you know what? It didn't work. Despite all his efforts, he never felt truly appreciated. And here's the real truth. Most of the time, nobody even noticed his efforts. Authenticity is key. It's about being true to yourself, not throwing away what truly makes you happy just to win brownie points. Think about it. Why should we exhaust ourselves trying to please others, especially when it's not making us content? Juggling masks, tiring ourselves out, and for what reason? The Stoics believe that if you stay true to yourself, the right people will naturally gravitate towards you. Why? Like attracts like. And those who don't? Well, you can't be everyone's cup of tea, can you? It's better to focus on being genuine and attracting the people who appreciate you for who you are, rather than bending over backward for temporary approval. 3. Believing you can change people. We've all heard the saying, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. And yet, we wouldn't be human if we haven't, at one time, tried to believe we can change who we love. Our big innocent hearts overflowing with kindness, and we think we can swoop in and fix everyone's problems. Stoicism has a straightforward message about this. We can't control others, we can only control how we react to them. We cannot choose our external circumstances, but we can always choose how we respond to them. Seneca, think about that friend of yours who always seems to attract the wrong crowd in relationships. You've been there for them, given them advice, and even set them up with positive influences, but they keep making the same mistakes. It can be frustrating, right? But the truth is, everyone's on their journey. Sure, offering your support is kind, but we can't hold their hand and make every decision and action on their behalf. But no wonder the Stoics focused on the only thing they could control, their actions and thoughts, and let go of the need to control everything else. It can be difficult, especially when you care deeply about someone. But sometimes the kindest thing you can do is take a step back and let people make their own choices, as ultimately, it is they who must learn from their own mistakes. 4. Letting others take advantage of you. Are you always there for everyone, ready to lend a helping hand or fulfill any request that comes your way? Sounds like you're doing what you should, right? But here's the thing. When you're constantly giving, without any balance or boundaries, people will start taking advantage of your kindness without even realizing it. Remember Emma from school. She's this amazing person who's always giving help, spreading joy and sweetness to people, the answers and solutions to the problems in class, and sending everyone that homework template to save everyone else time. Over time, her gestures of kindness begin to be expected, almost taken for granted, and when she wasn't able to help, her classmates were quick to complain and blame her when they weren't able to hand in their work on time. She absorbed this energy and blamed herself for the laziness of her peers. All her efforts had been forgotten, and it got her down. The Stoics had something to say about this. They talked about temperance, finding a balance in everything we do, not getting too attached to external rewards or overdoing it with acts of kindness. It's about knowing when to say no and set boundaries, even when it feels tough. It's all about communication, letting people know that while our kindness is a gift, it's not something they should expect and take advantage of. 5. Forgetting your own needs. You know how, when you're super focused on being nice to everyone else, you sometimes forget about yourself. You're running on empty, but still trying to drive everyone else around you and make sure everyone else is all right. Stoicism talks about this, reminding us that taking care of ourselves isn't selfish, it's crucial. Think of it this way. If you don't refuel your car, how can you expect it to go anywhere on an empty tank? You will end up broken down on the side of the road, waiting for roadside assistance to sort it out. The same goes for constantly putting others first. Eventually, you'll hit a breaking point. We all know that good friend who's always there for everyone else, never taking a moment for themselves until one day they just can't do it anymore. we notice there's something a little bit off with them. Why? Because they are drained and may feel unappreciated. Because no matter how much they gave to us, they forgot to be kind to themselves. So taking some time for yourself isn't just a luxury, it's a necessity. The Stoics were big on this. They knew that a well-tended soul is better equipped to handle life's curveballs. Remember, there is no shame in taking a step back and taking some time out to recharge your battery, as ultimately it is the very people who you may need to say no to in the present that will benefit from a better version of yourself. I see you're still with me, which tells me you're all about self-improvement. Stick around until the end, because the last point is even more eye-opening. 6. Avoiding confrontation when there's no other option. Nobody enjoys disagreeing with each other. The friction caused not only slows down the mutual interest we share in whatever relationship we are in, but it can be awkward and uncomfortable, and we may fear the future repercussions of the interaction. Are they going to still like me? Do they want to punish me and make my life difficult for not agreeing with them? Are we going to be able to move on? Even if it's only subconscious and shows via a few minutes of hesitation in bringing up the issue. Stoicism suggests that while conflict isn't pleasant, it's sometimes necessary. We might think we're being nice by keeping the peace, but in reality, sweeping issues under the rug can lead to even bigger problems later on. Think about those times when someone else's dirty dishes pile up without anything being said. At first, it might seem like a small thing, but over time, it can start to build up. The Stoics would say it's better to address these annoyances early on, rather than letting them fester into resentment. It's not about stirring up drama, it's about dealing with issues before they snowball into something bigger. In the long run, peace and harmony can reign supreme instead of those heated arguments over the smallest of issues. So next time you find yourself tempted to avoid confrontation, remember that sometimes a little discomfort now can save you from a lot of trouble later. And don't forget, there's still a correct and kind way to disagree and confront someone. A way where you do not seek to attack the individual personally, damaging their ego rather than hitting the situation head-on with no ill feelings. With the wide range of ways we can choose to show our kindness, I hope you have absorbed the nuances that can cause your mercy to backfire against you. As we've just learned, these insights remain as relevant today as they were centuries ago, and I hope you take the time to implement this knowledge into your decision-making and actions you take daily. Have you ever suffered as a result of your excessive kindness? I urge you to share your thoughts in the comments below. Your stories bring life to our Stoic community, offering guidance and inspiration to fellow wisdom seekers on life's journey. And if you've enjoyed today's video, why not spread some positivity? Give that like button a gentle tap, hit subscribe, and don't forget to ring the notification bell. After all, you wouldn't want to miss out on our next adventure, would you? So until we meet again, remember, embrace kindness when it is warranted, cultivate wisdom, and always stay true to yourself. To discover more Stoic wisdom, simply select one of the videos appearing on your screen now. Stay Stoic.